How many edges would I find on a cube? Rob?
12.
Yes.
What was the name of the people opposing the Israelites in ancient Palestine? Ian?
The Philistines.
Yes.
Karen Percy and Rob Boyd are associated. Mark?
Skiing.
Yes.
What is a cyclocross? John?
A bicycle crossing.
No.
Cyclocross, Nova Scotia. Rob?
A bicycle race?
No.
Cross-country racing on bicycles. Where does the International Court of Justice sit? Ian?
The Hague.
Yes.
Welcome to the National Championships of Reach for the Top, a game in which some of the country's brightest students have an opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge and powers of quick recall. Since last September, thousands of players in hundreds of schools all across Canada have been forming teams, playing in tournaments, local leagues, and provincial playdowns. Now it all comes down to these national playoffs, the competition to win this trophy. Now, let's meet today's national semifinal contestants. Representing Nova Scotia for the second year in a row, Sackville High School, with Mike Como, Rob Biko, Nathan Kelleher, and Matthew Morgan, and teacher coaches Mrs. Carolyn Lutz and Mrs. Cheryl McKillop. And from Nepean, Ontario, the Ontario Championship team, Bell High School, with Scott Murphy, John Little, Mark Jays, and Ian Clydesdale, with Mrs. Roberta Romanko and Mr. Richard Majot, their teacher coaches. And now, here again is your quizmaster, Mark Lay.
Welcome to today's game. Thank you very much. Welcome, panel. Welcome, judges. We have Paul Russell, Steve Officer, and again, two very well-qualified teams.
Well, we had over 600 points in our last semifinal, and these people know the answers.
And the answers will be tallied by Kathy Gay-Kutis. Political firsts will be our topic when we return.
Hi, I'm Rob Biko from Sackville High School, representing the province of Nova Scotia.
And hi, I'm Scott Murphy from Bell High School, Nepean, representing this great province of Ontario.
And I'm Mark Lade. Please join us as we reach for the top. Okay, Reach for the Top continues with political firsts. Who in 1949 became the first president of Nathan?
Joey Smallwood.
No.
Indonesia. First president of Indonesia, Nepean.
Nehru.
No.
Sukarno. From 1946 to 1952, who served as the first Secretary General of the United Nations? Mark.
Chigvi Lee.
Yes.
David Ben-Gurion, David,
Israel.
Yes.
first Prime Minister of Israel. Okay, watch your monitor, and let's have a look at a marinescape here. Who painted this grouping of moored canoes on an Ontario lake? Ian.
Tom Thompson.
Yes.
Bateau. Geography. It is in the Pacific Ocean. Name the second largest island in the world. Rob.
New Guinea.
Yes.
The islands of South Pacific are divided into three ethnically different regions: Polynesia, Micronesia, and Ian?
Melanesia.
Yes.
Which Melanesian country had the bloodless coup in 1987 and denounced Queen Elizabeth as head of state? Rob.
Fiji.
Yes. So with that, Nova Scotia has 30 and Ontario has 70.
Here's a scramble for 10 points. Which Canadian writer is best known for his efforts to save whales, seals, and wolves? Ian.
Farley Mowat.
Yes.
All right, these are yours, Ontario. These questions deal with Farley Mowat. Before beginning his career as a writer, in what profession did Farley Mowat train?
Journalism?
No.
He was a biologist. What was the title of Mowat's first children's book, published in 1956?
Never
Ian.
Cry Wolf.
No.
Lost in the Barrens. In which book did Mowat describe the desperate situation of the Inuit?
Curse the Viking Grave.
No.
The People of the Deer.
Ontario has 80, Nova Scotia has 30.
NASA space program is our topic now. What was the name of the space shuttle that exploded? John.
Challenger.
Yes.
In what year did the space shuttle Challenger explode? John?
1986.
Yes.
What was the name of the Concord, New Hampshire high school teacher who was killed?
McAuliffe.
Yes.
Krista McAuliffe. Why did the Space Shuttle Challenger explode?
The hydrogen and oxygen tanks, there was a leak and they mixed.
Yes.
Ruptured seals as a result of. All right, some music now. We'd like to play a piece for you, and we would like to also give you a clue to follow. So here's our first. A German composer wrote this stirring overture. Name him.
Wagner.
No.
Rob.
Wagner?
No.
Beethoven. Let's try our second one. This was written by an 18th century Austrian composer who visited London in the 1790s. Mark.
Mozart.
No.
Visited London. Nathan.
Strauss.
No.
Haydn. Joseph Haydn's Trumpet Concerto. Here's another one. 19th century Russian composer created this spirited music. Rob.
Tchaikovsky.
No.
19th century Russian composer other than Tchaikovsky. Mark.
Rimsky-Korsakov.
No.
Borodin and his Palacian dances. Our fourth tune. Ian.
Prokofiev.
No.
This was written in 1894 between visits to America. Rob.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Dvorak, yeah, humoresque. Mathematics. Give a common name for each quadrilateral that we describe here. All sides equal, all...
Square.
Yes.
That's right, all sides equal, all angles equal to 90 degrees. A quadrilateral with opposite sides equal. Rob.
A rectangle.
Yes.
A quadrilateral with all sides equal. Mark.
I don't know, parallelogram.
Quadrilateral, all sides equal. Rob.
A parallelogram.
No.
Rhombus.
Nova Scotia has 60, Ontario 120.
Canadian politics. In 1966, the federal government implemented a plan that transfers incomes from the workers to the retired. What do we call this, Ian?
Canada Pension Plan.
Yes.
1948, who succeeded Mackenzie King? Mark.
So,
Yes.
In 1980, why did Canada boycott the Olympic Games? Mark.
because America did as well.
No.
They boycotted the Olympic Games in Moscow. Why? Sackville?
They're
Matthew?
against Cuba.
No.
To protest the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. All right, here's a 20-point special. We would like you to name 4 of the bones that make up the skull. Just 4 of them. We got a long list. Nathan.
The cranium, the anvil, the stirrup, and the hammer.
No.
Mark?
Cranium, mandible, anvil, and hammer.
No.
Let's take a look at this list. It's quite impressive. We have the frontal, the parietal, the occipital, the sphenoid, temporal, nasal, zygomatic, maxilla, and mandible. Okay, on to keeping in science here. What is the name for the large eruptions of luminous gas which rise several thousands of kilometers above the sun's chromosphere? Ian.
Sunspots.
No.
These are the eruptions of luminous gas. Rob.
Solar flares.
No.
Solar prominences. What is the name of the instrument for measuring vapor pressure? Scott.
A barometer.
No.
Measures vapor pressure. Sackville. Matthew.
Photometer.
No.
It's a tensimeter or manometer. What is the correct term for the change in the dimensions of a dielectric when placed in an electric field? Ian.
Reverse polarity.
No.
Nathan.
Electrical potential?
No.
It's called electrostriction. We've learned a new word. Theater. Mom is a morphine addict and Dad is a retired penny-pinching actor. What's the name of this famous American play? Rob.
Porgy and Bess.
No.
Famous American play. Mark.
Bye Bye Birdie.
No.
Long Day's Journey into Night. What opera was staged in Montreal's Olympic Stadium and the Toronto Sky Dome with a cast that included elephants and snakes? Rob?
Il Trovatore.
No.
The opera was Aida. Who performed the one-woman Broadway show, The Search for Intelligent Life in the Universe?
Lily Tomlin.
Yes. Ontario has 150, Nova Scotia has 60.
By area, what is the largest ocean in the world? Mark.
Pacific.
Yes.
Name the play usually performed at Christmas depicting, Mark,
The Passion Play?
No.
depicting the birth of Christ. Rob.
Nativity?
Yes.
What dance of the 1920s was named after a city in South Carolina? Ian.
Charleston.
Yes.
What kind of appearance does the word lactescence describe? Ian.
Milk.
Yes.
Milky. Which Alfred Hitchcock film contains the famous shower sequence? Ian.
Psycho.
Yes.
All right, and with that, we'll just double check that score, and we'll return with Reach for the Top.
McClelland and Stewart, Canadian publishers, are providing a...
Okay. At the half, Paul, where do we stand?
Well, we stand with Nova Scotia at 70, and Ontario is winning with 190.
Well, I'm sure you're as curious as we are as to how these teams arrived at this particular juncture on the Reach for the Top climb. Let's talk to Scott Murphy from Bell High School in Nepean. Scott, how long have you guys been working on this?
Well, that's an interesting story, Mark, but I think I'll make something up instead.
Okay.
You see, last September, our coach, Uncle Madge, had a vision, and this led to the Great Bell conscription rights of 1993. After our press gangs had rounded up all the eligible candidates, the behavioral conditioning began. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. I seem to have strayed off topic, but to make a short story long, we've been practicing hard all year and have followed a hormonally imbalanced diet. We are currently brainwashing over 30 juniors to follow in our footsteps next year. And when things get too tough, we harken back to our guiding principle, which is rule number 1. Thank you.
And now you know the rest of the story. Now, Rob Biko from Sackville High School, Sackville, Nova Scotia, has a similar story, I'm sure. Rob, how you achieved this pinnacle?
Well, basically at Sackville High, anybody who's interested in joining the team, we let join. And they can come with us to our tournaments we play against other Metro teams. Then, around April or so, we choose our top 6 people to compete at the regionals, the provincials, and, with luck, the nationals. We just got a few people we'd like to thank here, too. We got MT&T, the Halifax County Bedford District School Board, the Nova Scotia Department of Education, and special thanks to the Sackville business community who helped us with our auction.
Thank you, Rob. Okay. On to the assigned question now. Mike and Scott are up first, and we're talking about people in Canadian history. Born at Laurentides, Quebec in 1841, who was Canada's 7th Prime Minister? Scott.
Laurier?
Yes.
Born Harvey J. Smith at the Six Nations Reserve in Brantford, Ontario, who played Tonto to the Lone Ranger in the Lone Ranger television series? Scott.
Fenton?
No.
Mike.
Graham Greene.
No.
J. Silverheels. All right, Rob and John, which governor was responsible for the Acadian expulsion in 1755?
Carlton?
No.
Rob? Charles Lawrence. Which Ontario-born medical doctor invented the game of basketball? John?
Naismith?
Yes.
Nathan? Mark? Which English professor at the University of Toronto first said, "The medium is the message"? Mark?
Marshall McLuhan?
Yes.
Which native singer-songwriter of Western Canada composed Universal Soldier in 1963? Mark?
Buffy St. Marie?
Yes.
Matthew and Ian. Which 5 daughters were born May 28, 19? Ian?
Dion Quintuplets.
Yes.
Which prime minister served from 1930 to 1935? Ian?
Bennett.
Yes.
On to Beethoven. What was the name of Beethoven's only opera, Mark?
Fidelio?
Yes.
Like all pianists of the late 18th century, Beethoven was raised on the sonatas of a man who was the chief exponent of expressive music at the time. Rob?
Haydn?
No.
He was one of the family of prominent musicians and composers of classical music. The name, please. Scott?
Strauss?
No.
Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach. The year 1804 saw the completion of a symphony regarded by most biographers as a landmark in Beethoven's... Rob?
Vienna?
No.
A landmark in Beethoven's development. It was originally dedicated to Napoleon. Which symphony is this? Bell, Mark?
The 5th Symphony?
No.
3rd in E-flat major, the Eroica.
Ontario has 260, Nova Scotia has 70.
And we have words. This word can be prefixed to the following 3 words to make 3 new words. Boat, shot, and power. Rob?
Show.
No.
What prefix are we looking for here, Nepean? Ian?
Horse.
No.
Gun. Gunboat, gunshot, gunpowder. Okay, what word can be prefixed to the following 3 words to make 3 new words? Light, line, and phone.
House.
No.
Light, line, and phone. Ian?
Tella.
No.
Head. Headlight, headline, headphone. Okay, what word can be prefixed to the following 3 words to make 3 new words? Land, hen, and tongue. Mother. Okay, scramble for 10 points. Get Smart focused on the misadventures of what fictional, Rob?
Maxwell Smart?
Yes.
Right. These questions deal with Get Smart, and would you believe the questions are all yours, Sackville. What was Maxwell Smart's number? Rob?
96?
No.
86. Where was Maxwell Smart's telephone? Night.
His shoe?
Yes.
Actually, specifically his left shoe. You might want to mark that one down. Who was Maxwell Smart's partner, known only by her number? Rob?
99.
That's right.
Okay.
With that, Ontario has 260, Nova Scotia at 100.
We're turning to sports now. Which year was the last time the Brooklyn Dodgers won the World Series, Rob?
1950?
No.
Mark?
1955.
Yes.
Since 1936, which team has won the most World Series? Mark?
New York Yankees.
Yes.
Which Yankees switch hitter holds World Series? Mark?
Mickey Mantle.
Yes.
Okay. Most bases on balls, most strikeouts, most runs batted in, most home runs. Here's a what country am I question. First clue correctly answered is worth 40 points. My original inhabitants were the Arawak Indians, who gradually, Rob?
Cuba?
No.
Gradually disappeared after Columbus's discovery of the islands, of which I occupy a third. He called the area La Isla España. What country am I? Scott?
Tahiti?
No.
Spain ceded my part of the island to France in 1697. John?
Hispaniola?
No.
In 1804, I became an independent republic, but my political situation has always been tumultuous. And between 1915 and 1934, the United States controlled me. For 30 points, what country am I? Rob?
Bahamas?
No.
French is still the official language. Mark?
Haiti?
Haiti
Yes.
is what we're looking for there. 20 points.
Ontario now has 310, Nova Scotia 100.
Art, watch your monitors and wait for the question to follow. Let's take a look at this painting. This is the work of what famous New York Mark?
Andy Warhol.
Yes.
Who established himself in the 1960s. Warhol is also known for his prints and paintings of soup cans. What brand? Mark?
Campbell's.
Yes.
Warhol did a famous series of prints of what U.S. president's? Mark?
Nixon.
No.
U.S. president's wife when tragedy struck the White House. Rob?
John F. Kennedy?
His wife?
Jacqueline Kennedy?
Yes.
Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Canadian history. Although gas and oil had been discovered in Alberta in the early 1900s, it was not until 1947 that a major oil field was discovered at, Rob?
The Athabasca tar sands?
No.
Where was the major oil field discovered? Mark?
Fort McMurray.
No.
Leduc. In 1789, Esteban Jose Martinez established a Spanish military fort on what Canadian island? Ian?
Anticosti.
No.
Rob?
Vancouver Island?
Yes.
Canada had 3 prime ministers in 1993. Name the third. Mark?
Cloutier.
Yes. Ontario now sits at 340 with Nova Scotia at 120.
We'll take a short 20-point trip into the stock exchange now. 20 points for a correct answer. Name the 5 Canadian cities that have stock exchanges. Mark?
Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Winnipeg.
No.
Rob?
Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Calgary?
Yes.
Okay, those are all 5 of them. Prehistoric animals. One of the largest finds in the world of fossilized jaws, skulls, and teeth of tiny dinosaurs, crocodiles, lizards, sharks, and fish was found in what Canadian province in 1986? Mark?
Alberta.
No.
What Canadian province? Rob?
Saskatchewan?
No.
Nova Scotia. Oh. They're going to get the heck when they get home. What dinosaur had long pointed spikes at the end of its tail? Rob?
Stegosaurus?
Yes.
This prehistoric animal had been found frozen in ice, its body intact. Nathan?
Mammoth.
Yes.
The woolly mammoth found in northern Asia. Which are thought to have evolved first, lizards or snakes? Rob.
Lizards.
Yes. Nova Scotia at 170, Ontario 340.
Physics. To 1 decimal place, at what rate do all objects accelerate? Mark?
9.8
Yes.
meters per second squared.
Yeah, if they're left to fall freely, that's what it is, 9.8 meters per second squared. What is the equation E equals HF? Mark?
The electromagnetic frequency.
No.
E equals HF. What is this equation called? Sackville? Nathan?
The wave equation?
Yes.
The universal wave
Snappers.
equation. Okay. We're closing things off with some quick questions. When speaking about rockets, what is LOX? Liquid oxygen. Which French impressionist painted the Green Dancer? Rob.
Cézanne.
No.
Green Dancer, Mark.
Manet.
No.
Degas. For which Canadian province do all the boundaries conform exactly? Mark.
Saskatchewan.
Yes.
What chess player's real name is Gary Weinstein? Mark.
Kasparov.
Yes.
With what profession does one associate the name Gerardus Mercator? Mark.
Map making.
Yes.
What does the naval acronym HMCS stand? Rob.
Her Majesty's cruise ship.
No.
HMCS. John.
Her Majesty's Canadian ships.
Yes.
Who were the Greek goddesses of art and science? Rob.
The Muses.
Yes.
Which city hosted the 1984 Winter Olympics? John.
Sarajevo.
Yes.
Actor John Cleese starred in a film. Mark.
Life of Brian.
No.
A fish called. Rob.
Wanda.
Yes.
Which organ of the senses is affected by Meniere's disease? Mark.
The ear.
Yes.
What was the writer of H.H. Munro's pen name?
Saki.
Yes.
What is commonly considered the dividing line between the North and South United States? Rob.
The Mason-Dixon line.
Yes.
What number does the Roman numeral L represent? Mark.
50.
Yes.
What is the name for a male swan? Mark.
A gander.
Male swan. Cobb. How many lines does a sonnet contain? Mark.
14.
Yes.
What does the acronym Oxfam stand for? Mark.
I don't know.
Time.
Oxfam. Sackville. Oxford Committee for Famine Relief. What Japanese drink is made from fermented rice? John.
Sake.
Yes.
Which Pulitzer Prize-winning author of Beloved won the 1993 Nobel Prize for Literature? John.
Smithson.
No.
Toni Morrison. Who was the choreographer of Broadway musicals Oklahoma, Carousel? Mark.
Learner.
No.
Paint Your Wagon, Brigadoon died in the fall of 1993. Agnes DeMille. Popular comedians. Okay. We'll take a short break. Reach for the top. We'll be right back. Okay, final score, Steve.
These two very talented teams, Mark. Of 19 snappers at the end, they only missed 6. Nova Scotia has 210 points, Ontario 450. They go to the final.
And that's right. Next week, the final. Join us then, please.
Reach for the Top is designed as a showcase for exceptional Canadian young people. Next week, it's the National Championship game with New Brunswick champs, Fredericton High School, against Ontario champs, Bell High School from Nepean. I'm Jim Craig. You'll be here again next week, won't you, for the exciting National Championship game of Reach for the Top.